Hello, welcome back to another session, which I would say it's the final session of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice for All. Right? Well, this might be most likely be the last trial for the game, and once we're done with this one, we'll most likely be moving to the next one immediately, which is Trials and Tribulations, I believe. Yes. We'll be doing that after that. If we finish this, right? If we finish this. I don't know how long it's gonna be, but hopefully not too long. If it's like a 4 hours trial thing, oh boy. Hopefully not. Hopefully I'm able to finish this as soon as possible. At least not too draggy. Also, I've just recovered from my throat injury. I hope I'm capable of doing what is needed to be done, which is doing all these weird voices for the game. Anyways, I hope everyone's having a good day or good night, and yeah, I guess without further ado, let's just jump it right in. All right, shall we? All right, let's go. I good thing, how do you say, I was able to get the recording fixed, capturing fixed, because OBS updated itself, and I tried to set things up, but like, what? Why can't I record a game? Apparently, I have to set administration rights to OBS to capture full screen games again after its update. So yeah, now I've been able to do it. All things are well, I believe. Oh boy, I am so. I think I need to. What should I do? I'm a bit red, so. Let's work this. Let's not do that. I think this is alright, right? This is alright, maybe. Hopefully it's not too bad. Alright. March 22nd, 9:47 AM, District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. I totally forgot how to do his voice because I've stopped playing this game for just 1 week, and I lost all sense of all these at least the new characters I've forgotten. Anyhow, let's try. Adrian did it. That's what it looks like. Dude, no way. That woman couldn't do anything like that. In court today, there will be a mountain of evidence that will implicate you. A mountain of evidence? I'm certain there's someone out there trying very hard to pin this whole thing on you. Please, Mr. Lawyer. Dude, like I said yesterday, I'm refreshing like a spring breeze, alright? I can't let any sort of scandal ruin that. I understand. Well, it's almost time. Oh, it's Mia. We must get a complete acquittal today. I know, but I can't focus on my situation right now. Or Pearl's, either. No matter what, I have to focus on winning this case by the end of the day. Indeed. Well, let's get going. Beep beep beep. It's him. This is right. But sorry, this is it, Mr. Attorney. The day of the trial. Maya, she's unharmed, right? Well, when I checked on her earlier this morning, she seemed a bit, how shall we say, tired. Don't worry, people don't die that easily. Besides, what you really should be concentrating on is winning today's trial.
For my sake, as well as yours, you must win today's trial. Which is why I sent you a little present this morning.
Present? What in the world would you want to give me?
You'll figure it out once it's all done, and even if you don't like my gift, I expect you to graciously accept it and win the day's contest, if you please.
Wait. Kidnapper sent me a present? Mr. Lloyd, who is that? No one. It's nothing to do with you, so forget you heard anything. Dude, did you just nose just get longer? What? You're saying I'm lying? March 22nd, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 3.
Court is now in session for the trial of Matt Engarde. Are the prosecution and defense ready?
The defense is ready, Your Honor. Wait, Franziska?
I say, is right. What happened to Miss Von Karma?
I don't know. Your Honor, why are you getting mad at me?
Yeah, Anna. Please be quiet, bailiff. Court is in session. If you must tell me something, please keep it brief. Now then, what is it?
Prosecutor Von Karma. This morning, Miss Von Karma was shot by that old demon.
What?
Oh, I didn't know that. Shot? Somehow, I think this is the present that man was talking about. His present? Miss Von Karma is one of the top prosecutors in the country at the moment. If she were to disappear, it would be to your advantage. This is totally insane. Miss Von Karma, is she alright?
I don't have that answer.
What's that? She's alive and in stable condition.
That's good. You're...
I thought it showed up. Each word! Your Honor. Due to the circumstances, Miss Franziska Von Karma cannot appear in court today. I have nothing to do with it though. I, Miles Edgeworth, will be taking her place. The prosecution is ready, naturally. Miss Von Karma was shot in her right shoulder and is currently undergoing surgery. Luckily, I have looked into this case over and am familiar with the details. The prosecution seeks to prove the guilt of Mr. Matt Engarde.
The court acknowledges the prosecution.
Right. I finally found the answer I was struggling for my long journey this past year. By the time this case comes to an end, you too will know the answer. Now then, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Please bring Detective Gumshoe to the witness stand.
Yay!
Witness, your name and occupation.
My name's Dick Gumshoe, sir. I'm a detective down at the precinct for now. For now? After this trial's over, I'm supposed to turn in my badge, sir.
Detective Gumshoe. The prosecution has no need for a depressed witness. Lift your head up and face forward like a proud officer, Detective Dick Gumshoe.
Yes, sir.
Now, let's have your testimony. If we want to explore the various facades of this case, we must start with that. Get ready, Phoenix. There's going to be one very rough fight. Yeah. It would have to be with Edgeworth as my opponent. The answer he was struggling for. Interesting. Show me this answer you finally found, Edgeworth. Bare facts of the case.
This murder happened after the Hero of Heroes award ceremony, sir. The victim, Juan Corrida, was found dead in his hotel room. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. At first, we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. However, we later found out that the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder.
Wait, why does it have nothing to do with the murder? That's sus.
After the award ceremony ended, the victim was alone in his room. Yes, sir. Both the victim and the defendant went alone to their room, sir. I see. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Well, it would be very obvious. The thing I want to find out is why is it not relevant anymore? The guitar case is what I'm talking about. But I'll press all this as well first. The cause of death. Wasn't that because Mr. Corrida was stabbed in the chest?
Only a careless amateur would believe something so brainless as that, pal. Take a good look, hard look at the crime photo. Now, the real pro's attention would be drawn here to this bandana. Banana. His bandana, sir. That's the thing wrapped right tightly around his neck, sir. Ah, yes, I see. His banana-scented bandana.
What? Then, what about the knife?
It seems to have been stuck in the victim's chest on purpose after his death. We have a crafty murderer, but our hands is here.
Strangled with a scarf, then stabbed with a knife. Why? But let me look at the crime photo again, though. Oh. Okay. Interesting, so that's how he got strangled. Thought there was something suspicious about empty guitar case. Let me press this. What convinced you it had nothing to do with the case?
The guitar wasn't at the Gateway Hotel that night. Well then, where was it? The bright red guitar was eventually found at the TV studio. The victim, Juan Corrida, apparently only taken the case with him, sir. So, you mean he forgot to put the guitar inside the case? Yes, sir. Even when he was on stage for a ceremony, he didn't have his guitar.
So that guitar case was empty even before he got to the hotel. The first. Fellas! Congrats for being the first.
Hope you're...
Wait. Did you just wake up? Because it's super early, I believe. Or you're still awake since last night.
Yeah, that's right. So it really had nothing to do with the case after all.
Our first order of business should be to gather more info from his testimony. But that might be a trap set up for us somewhere. Maybe, however, setting off trap is part of a lawyer's job too. If you say so. Of course, we're supposed to escape from them too, wouldn't you say? Okay, I'll just press everything. Would you please give us a brief timeline of what happened after the ceremony?
Okay, pal. Ceremony started at 6 p.m. We ended around 8 p.m. And then there was a short break. A special post-ceremony show was supposed to start in the lobby 30 minutes later.
Now I've been up. I woke up at 12:30 a.m. for my duties. Ah, I see. Duties. Also got in at 12 today, so it's no problem. Got in at 12 today. You're not doing anything now, currently? You're just chilling? And that's when the victim's body was found, correct? Which is to say, the murder occurred during that 30-minute break period.
Please continue with your testimony, Detective.
The person who had discovered the victim's body was Adrian Andrews, correct?
Yeah. Who is this Adrian Andrews you're talking about?
Yeah, just chilling in dreams right now. Ah, I see. Watching for bozos? I see. Have you found any? Probably not.
She's the defendant, that on guard's manager. She's a really pretty lady, sir. Ah, so she's a pretty lady. I wonder if she will grace us with her presence. When the post-ceremony show was about to start, we went to get Mr. Angard. After visiting his room, she next went to the victim's room to get him for a show, sir. I see. And that's where she found the victim's body.
One person calling my streamer out for her playstyle. Damn. Not as a joke, but for real, like trolling and all that. And why did you think that?
Because it was empty, pal. The Jamming Ninja doesn't go anywhere without his bright red guitar. We couldn't find it anywhere to see of crime. Oh, and how about this theory? The fan really wanted the guitar and did the crime to get it. How's that? With all of that too, but the only fingerprint on the guitar case were the victims.
Only the victims, huh?
I see. Yes, so much for my theory then.
Excuse me, about 3 times had to make an example. Good. Empty. There's some water, but only the top lid bears Corridor's fingerprints only. I believe that is enough. First, the victim was choked to death with his bandana. Then, after the victim was dead, the killer deliberately stabbed him with a knife. Which brings me to my next point. Why then did the police arrest Matt Angard? Because there was reason enough to suspect him. Here it comes. Looks like Ed was back in full swing.
Very well. Detective Gumshoe, please testify about this matter. Yes, sir.
Why arrest Angard?
Matt Angard and Juan Corridor were huge rivals with each other. He thought the other guy was in his way. Expected him not in my book. As for evidence, there's the Jamming Ninja's button. It was ripped off of the ninja costume and was found in Mr. Angard's Hakama. The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder.
Wait, but they say...
So the defendant's fingerprints were found on the knife used in the stabbing. It was sort of sticky on the handle, so the fingerprints came up pretty clearly, sir.
There's the victim's blood and Angard's fingerprints. In the grip, Gatewater is engraved.
And there's this button. Head was found in the defendant's clothes, was it? And is this button also covered in blood? Yes, we know that the blood is the victor's blood, sir.
What? Strip from his costume is covered in Corridor's blood, found in Angard's Hakama.
All of this points very clearly to the defendant, doesn't it?
Yes, it most certainly does, Your Honor. Ready to give in yet? Right. I'll find a hole in your argument somehow. You can press as hard as you'd like. Just hurry up with your usual pointless questions. Grr. Don't be angry. It's just friendly banter. Okay, press. But in terms of popularity, Mr. Angard won, did he not?
Yeah, but you know what's ironic, pal? Juan Courier was always one step behind Mr. Angard in everything. This year it seemed like he'd finally caught up, ready for the big final showdown.
Mr. Corrida lost the Grand Prix in the end.
That is too bad. He must have been pretty downhearted after losing.
Well, he died as well. Okay. Okay. Wait just 1 second here. Mr. Angard was beating Mr. Corrida in the popularity polls.
Well, yeah, I guess, but...
Which means that in the defendant's eyes, the victim was not a rival at all. Which means he had no motive to kill at all.
Yes, I quite agree. Well, detective? It's not, well... I guess if you put it that way, that, yeah, the defendant will have no motive.
Detective, I'm beginning to think why you were fired.
No, not you too, Mr. Ashworth. Sir, that's...
I look forward to your pension negotiations.
No! Now, detective, let's continue with the testimony. No, not my poor pension too.
Detective, if you value your money, I suggest you proceed.
Yes, sir. We can talk about my pension later, sir.
What about what I was saying? Hello? Anyone? Totally out of there. That's more. As for the evidence, that's the name Germany expand. Let me press this. Do you have any proof that button belonged to the victim?
Huh? What do you mean, pal?
Oh, let me put it this way. I'm asking you if you have any evidence to back up your claim that this button was ripped off of the Ninjamin Ninja's costume.
Huh? But can't you tell by just looking at it? And the victim's blood is on it.
Anyone could have smeared that blood on there afterward.
Mr. Ashworth, help me, sir.
Alright, I knew I had to be this piece of evidence. Now to read this one in. Thread. The button was attached to the costume by thread, obviously. And that thread snapped when the button was torn off. If you match up the ends of the threads of the costume with the thread on the button, it's a perfect match.
Yeah, that's it. A perfect match, pal.
Ugh. That's Ashworth for you. Never misses a bit. Okay. When was this button found?
Pretty soon after the body was found, we rounded up everyone who knew Mr. Corridor, and then we did a search on them all. That's when we found the button. So it was almost immediately after the murder.
The police didn't have the free time to lollygag and play tricks, unlike some people. Hey, what is he trying to say about me here? Okay. How were the fingerprints arranged on the knife?
Huh? What do you mean, pal?
By examining the fingerprints, you can determine how the defendant held the knife. For example, did he hold it normally or overhand?
Oh, is that what you mean? Well, we did actually think of that.
I can't believe the bumbling of this department. Hopeless. Were you paying attention to the testimony, right? The defendant's fingerprints were all over the knife. There's no way to determine how the knife was held at the moment of the murder.
So is the defendant the owner of this knife then?
Bought the knife? I wanted to press this, then only objected with the evidence. There's no way this was a premeditated murder, even if he bought a knife. Okay, that's not what I'm trying to argue.
Sorry, pal, this is some pocket knife. It doesn't fold, so it's not great for walking around with either.
But this is not good. If the prosecution can prove it was a premeditated murder, we're done for. Phoenix. Yes? There's something very interesting about what that detective said just now. Think carefully before it's too late. A body covered in the victim's blood and a knife with Elmgard's fingerprints. Be grateful. If the judge were more rash, he would have already pounded his gavel in closing. We're still in a world of trouble. Well, before any battle, you must find your enemy's weakness. So let's find a weakness in his testimony, no matter how small it may be, okay, Phoenix? Alright, at least I know one. The final statement. Objection! Wait a second. What? So the basis of your argument that this was a premeditated murder is simply that my client bought a knife beforehand?
That's right, pal. The defendant.
Did not buy this knife? Huh? Take a good look at the handle of this knife, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Huh? It has a gateway seal set into that handle. Gateway?
Oh no, wait, did I say gateway? Sorry.
I think I heard that name somewhere before.
That's the name of the hotel. The Gatewater Hotel. Uh-oh. The murder knife was actually property of the hotel, which means this murder was not premeditated. It means it was in the spur of the moment my client killed the victim.
Yes, it is very true. It is a very big...
You dumb Phoenix, right?
Oh, what is it, Mr. Ashworth?
I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless. What? I think whether the crime was premeditated or not has already been determined. How so? I admit, this knife is hotel property. There is no one currently on the police force that is dumb enough not to realize this.
But I did...
Damn, so sad. Gumshoe is getting burned all over. The question is, where did this knife come from?
Why, that's obvious. It came from the victim, Mr. Corridor's room.
Sorry, Your Honor, but it is incorrect. The victim ate a last meal before he was murdered. With that being the case, I would like to draw the court's attention to what is on top of the table.
There is a knife and a fork on the table. Then, where in the world did this knife come from?
From our client's room, I guess. If it pleases the court, I would like for us to recall the room of the defendant, Mr. Matt Elmgard. Is missing a knife. Especially what was on top of his table. There is something missing. Perhaps it is a single knife? We investigated leftover dishes for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, we came to the conclusion that Mr. Matt Elmgard's knife was missing. Ugh! Mr. Elmgard had gone to the victim's room with the knife he had used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife on a visit? To kill, of course. And with that, I believe the prosecution has proven this was a premeditated murder.
Amazing, Mr. Ashworth. Absolutely brilliant. A brilliantly clear deduction.
It seems like Mr. Ashworth had planned this from the very beginning. This must be one of those traps. I just walked headlong into it.
A murder weapon with fingerprints and a button from the victim's costume. There is quite a sizable amount of evidence here.
I can safely say that any further deliberation is a waste of your audience time. Although, I wouldn't mind if the defense were to present evidence not yet shown to the court. Evidence not yet shown? He means evidence that the court hasn't seen yet. In other words, new evidence.
What does the defense have to say about this, Mr. Wright?
Well... Phoenix, the judge is favoring the prosecution right now. If we answer with something wrong here, the gavel of his will be ringing out to the sound of our defeat.
Mr. Wright, do you have something important and necessary to present to this court?
I actually don't know. Do I? Could be anything. Actually, I do. There's one piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something that this court has yet to see.
Mr. Wright, I will say this one more time. I do not feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I'm giving you one chance, and only one chance.
What the judge is saying, right, is don't try pulling one of your usual bluffs here. If I mess this up, it's curtains for all of us.
Oh no. You may now present one and only one piece of evidence. Now then, what is this important evidence that you must show to the court?
Stolo, the light of the murder, tabloid article about the victim was in the case, an article from tabloid gossip. Hotel guide map. I'm guessing maybe this one? Or the camera? Either this one or the camera, but I'll not risk it, you know. So I'll be looking to see how to do this. All right. Walk through, please. Give me the final case. Oh wait, this is not a final case.
Oh no!
I'm okay. It might be another session. I'm so dumb. Okay, well, not the final session, I guess. Oh wells. Maybe I'll do a tour. Nah. Looking at yeah, it's not the final case. Maybe I'll. It's not the final trial. I guess we'll just put like part 1 or something. Okay. Right, let's do this. Wine glass. Okay, yeah, wine glass.
Take that!
This is a wine glass, is it not?
Please look at a photo of the crime scene one more time. The scene is a mess because of the victim's struggle against his assailant. The vase was broken, his makeup is all over the floor. These were all things that were at one point sitting on top of the dresser.
Well, yes, I see your point.
However, This glass that is sitting on top of the dresser is mysteriously untouched. The only thing that had not fallen over along with everything else is a wine glass. This piece of evidence is more than strange enough to warrant further consideration. Well, what do you all have to say?
Well, yes, it is a little peculiar.
Yes, isn't it? I thought it was.
You can't stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours now, Mr. Edgeworth.
What is it, Your Honor?
Your opinion.
You don't need my opinion, because there is no special meaning to that glass. What? It's safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place. By the person who discovered the body, Adrian Andrews, for example. She could have easily been so shocked that she set the glass down without thinking.
That does sound very plausible, Mr. Wright.
Could Miss Andrews really have set that glass down without thinking? I think... no. Maybe? Set that glass down without thinking. My answer is no, because they already have a drink in their own room. Why did Miss Andrews bring the glass to him though? But nah, I wouldn't say it's Miss Andrews. If I appear weak here, trial is over. I can look for my proof later. For now, I should trust my instinct and point with certainty. They might just fall for it, if you're thought-provoking enough. Bullshit our way to victory. The defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. We would like to see something that proves it was Miss Andrews who set the cup on the table.
You've turned the situation on its head yet again, as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any proof to back up your claim?
There's no he has any. He's just bluffing. Unlike Mr. Wright, I've never say anything unless I have the evidence to support it. Oh, what? You're not thinking hard enough today, right? Did you think this wine glass escaped my notice? Then, of course it has been thoroughly inspected. For fingerprints. Fingerprints? There were only one set of fingerprints left on this wine glass.
Only one? Well, whose were they?
They were not the victims nor the defendants. Rather, they were one of Adrian Andrews. What? Evidence updated. That is why I said that the person who had discovered the body had left it there. Are we done here, Mr. Wright? Grr, I can't believe I fell into another trap. Miss Andrews was probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Corridor. But upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and set the glass down on the dresser.
What you just said makes a lot of sense.
Tisk, tisk, tisk. Now do you see, right? You can't change any part of my scenario, as it explains everything all too well. Grr. I've thought long and hard this past year about what it means to be a prosecutor, and from here on out, I will show you the answer I've come to discover.
Wait a second, Mr. Edgeworth. I think the prosecution has provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdict.
Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment. The prosecution has yet another witness we would like the court to hear from. Another witness? Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness. What in the world is Mr. Edgeworth thinking?
He has already won.
Oh no. It's Windbag. Oldbag, sorry. Wendy Oldbag. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. Witness, your name and occupation. Gotcha. Grr. I wonder what happened to that calm composure you had earlier. Oh, Edgy boy, it's been what, a year since we last met, hasn't it? You should be more happy to see me. I saw the report with her testimony, but who knew that under that helmet, who was the wicked witch of the witness stand? Oh, I tell you, this time I know I'm supposed to know. So today, I'm going to tell you anything and everything, even things that don't have to do with that terrible crime.
Miss Witness, the terrible crime is all this court needs to know. Oof.
Shush! I'm talking to my dear Edgy Wedgie right now. Don't interrupt us, Gramps.
Yes, madam.
No, please. By all means, interrupt her, please. Anyway, witness, your testimony, please. It's true what they say, that youth are hot-headed nowadays. Not that I mind at all, Edgy. Now then, what should I start with? The witness was on a security detail at the hotel night of the murder. Is this correct, Miss Oldbag? It was a great job being able to see my dearie Juan. It was almost too much for my little heart to handle.
You mean you were a fan of the victim?
Look, everyone is crazy over that on guard, saying he's cute in a fresh way or something. But not me. I wouldn't say anything so silly. After all, I have no interest in a little child like him. I'm only interested in a real man, Juan Corrida. But those two were the same age. Anyway, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of his room that night. Very well. Please tell the court what you witnessed the night of the murder. Leave it to me, Edgy Poo.
What I witnessed?
Oh yeah, I need to hydrate first.
Doing Oldbag's voice while I'm recovering is not good.
I should have some. Since I have it, I might as well take it. Some fisherman. Can't really do her voice, like voice breaking and all that. Really strains my voice box, I guess. Alright. Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around in the hallway in front of his room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you know. Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. Because when someone showed up, there was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. He was on guard, mad on guard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room.
So Mr. Enguarde came out from the victim's room.
See, it has to be him. He's the murderer.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
What you witnessed? Okay, it's something I was interested in finding out, you know. What was it that you were trying to find out? Something you were interested in. And just what was that? It's not some little thing I can just go around telling everyone, you know. It's top secret, between me and Juan. And Edgy Poo, of course.
Mr. Ashworth, what is this thing she was interested in?
I've no idea. I despise gossip, Your Honor. Gossip? But should it prove relevant, we can always have it appended to her testimony later. It looks like we should enforce it right now.
And indeed, the witness stay in the vicinity of the victim's door the entire time.
When someone showed up, it was the man coming out of 4-1's room. You saw my client. Are you sure about that? Yes, see? Really? Annoying brat. When I say I saw someone, I saw that person. Why do I get a sense of deja vu? Maybe to avoid a repeat of last year, I should delve into this a bit further. The person's face. Please tell me the court about the man's face in more detail. You don't need me to tell you about his face. That soft, gentle look in his eyes and his effeminate lips. Effeminate lips. His right eye covered by his silky hair, his sparkling, shining teeth. His teeth were shining? Well, he's shining all around this week's pin-up poster, dearie. This week's peanut... What do you mean? I mean, I don't care how he looks in this week's issue. Please stay with what you saw that night. What? On God's face, it's the same no matter where it is, you know? You whippersnapper.
So, Mr. Wright, is this testimony just now important or relevant in any way?
I think no. Yes. Yes, no. No, it's not. It's not that important. I guess it wasn't really that important after all.
Mr. Wright, do you know why we say time is valuable? If not, I suggest you learn.
You've wasted 3 minutes of this woman's youth. That's more valuable than gold to me. Why do I suddenly feel old in the presence of a childish whining? You may not remember things or be mistaken here and there, but I don't think she's lying. Bad for us. Really bad. But that's not how the human mind is. It also has a tendency to jump off topic. She strayed onto a few interesting side topics this time too, hasn't she? But it's what makes her a sweet old lady, right? It's because you're not the one who has to question her. Alright, I have to do the final statement again. Okay. I'm gonna skip into the part where I have to ask the person's clothes. Please tell the court about a man's clothes in more detail. What a troublesome man you are, really, as if something like that matters. But it does. Now, what was it? Oh yes, it was that thing. What thing? That gaudy thing he's always wearing, that racing jacket. Ah, he was wearing that at the detention center too. That thing's meant for nothing but seducing women out of their pantaloons. Huh, man. Right.
So, Mr. Wright.
Okay, yes, it was very important. Why was he wearing his normal clothes? Of course it was important, Your Honor. Then perhaps you would like to point out what part of the testimony was important. Don't you see it, Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request what the witness said about a jacket be appended to her testimony.
I don't quite see where you're going with this, but alright. Witness, please.
Ah, well, I don't like to badmouth anyone without reason, but if I must... I think it's a problem because he's supposed to be the Nico Ninja, right? Shouldn't he be wearing this instead? Right? So I think it's this one. They need to present this one. Or not, apparently. No, I'm not supposed to present this one. Bum 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 bum. It's supposed to be the button, apparently.
Objection!
Miss Oldback. Well, it's kind of, I'm correct, right? Because they're trying to say evidence was found in his Hakama, but Olbak saw him in his, not in his costume. So what's with that contradiction? I feel like, presenting that picture should be fine as well. What? Don't say my name for no reason. You know what this is? Ah, it's button number 2 on the Jammy Ninja's costume. Now I know she's an obsessed fan. She identified it in a single glance. Give it here! Give it here! If you don't give it to me, I'll punish you with this. Wow, he really is a die-hard fan to want a button covered in blood. This button was discovered on Mr. Angard's body during a full-body search. See? This button proves beyond a shadow of doubt it was the rascal's Angard. It was caught up in the pleats of his nickel shamrock Hakama pants. See? And Angard is the nickel samurai. Witness. Now, it may just be me, and I do have an active imagination. But just now, didn't you say that the defendant, Matt Angard, was wearing his usual racing jacket? I'm so sorry. Sorry that you judge people on what they wear. If I were to trend yesterday, everything instead I have to put up with wearing the ridiculous outfit. This outfit's serious, right? I've got a tape recorder to start with. It's heavy, so heavy I wish we would switch to cities ages ago. But I'm giving that dream my life. All the kids out there, I would understand now that I took a look at the mirror. Your clothes are through me as a documentary on Kelly. You should be able to tell more from Ejipu. No, I can't. I managed to read in my mind, but my mouth is not fast enough to read.
Now, hold your tongue still there for a second. So what you saw in actuality was not Miss Angard, the man, but Miss Angard, the Niku Samurai.
When you think about it, they're really one and the same anyway. Miss Olbak, this is a very important point we're talking about. Ejipu, do you think so too? Well, it might be something worth considering. Just say it's important and agree with me for a change.
Witness, think carefully and try to remember as much as you can before you testify.
Alright, if you insist. I should be the one sighing, not you.
Who you saw?
Angard. Yes, now I remember. The Niku Samurai, that's right. It was the Niku Samurai that saw. Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime, So he must have worn that Niku Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. I knew it. I knew you'd say he was inside that costume. What? Did you think there could have been someone else inside that costume? Don't be a bad little boy, thinking such rude things. But the possibility does exist. Ah, youngins today. I was told there's no way it was anyone else.
How do you know that?
Because I said so, and what I say is the truth. At least she's just as delightful a witness as she was a year ago.
Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Why so? Okay. Give me room to wear his costume during the murder. It could do the person and show right up the crime, He's not supposed to go to the show though. So I'm gonna press this first. Maybe because it's not. Now that I don't have evidence to directly show she's contradicting herself. Was there anyone else scheduled to be at the post-ceremony show? Well, all the contestants were supposed to go on stage in a friendly gesture thing. And that included the Jammy Ninja. Of course it included him. That's why he, when Angar came out of Dear One's room, didn't give a second thought.
I see.
Well, anyway. I'll press some of this. Why would that be? That way, no one could see his face, of course. There's still no advantage for him that I can see. In fact, you would think the Oz costume would make him stand out all the more. You're such an annoying child, you know that? You disagree with everything I say. Isn't that what you're always doing to me? I got it. Maybe it was more trouble for him to change in and out of his costume. Okay. You know, okay, before I look up the answer, I think it's this one, and I think it's this one, but then I will be confirming the statement. But the only thing I have is my client understanding that he didn't know anything about going to a conference. So that is a predicament. Let's see. Oh, what? There's some special thing going on with this. Be a little more careful with your testimony, please. Not too long ago you said he was wearing his racing jacket. Now he's not? Not too long ago? Then let me ask you this. When you were little bitty, what was your grand dream? Huh? What did you want to be when you grew up, whippersnapper? My dream, huh? Well, I wanted to be a Judge Wagner, hero of the public court. So what? Judge Wagner? Like, you judge whacking people? See? And look at where you are now. You're not Judge Wagner, are you? Are you? Well, what I say earlier, who puts any weight into things like that? Then now it's everything. I can't be held responsible for the past. Since when did court become theatrics over testimonies? Alright, so I learned what's interesting about Phoenix. You watch a show called Judge Wagner. All that matters is that man was inside a costume. Isn't that enough? Okay, I'm supposed to present some... Oops. Something in the fifth statement. Wait, fourth statement? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Must worn that nickel costume, summer costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. Do I have something? I can't think of it. But apparently... Guide says, it's rather easy. I don't see how it's related to. Unless you're saying, if he's wearing a costume, then why are there fingerprints on the knife, right? Or something. Objection! Please take a look at this. Yeah, so it's a knife. Big deal. If you're trying to scare me with that, I'll have you know it won't work. No, that's not my intention at all.
That's the knife that was used in the murder, correct?
Your Honor, do you know why this piece of evidence is important to this case?
You don't even have to ask. It's because the defendant's fingerprints are on it.
Is that what you're driving at? That is exactly what I'm driving at.
What are we driving at? At whose car are we driving?
Such a kid. If Mr. Angard was really in the Nickel Shamrai costume at the night of the murder, then it's impossible for his fingerprints to have been left on this knife. Actually, he would have wiped all previous fingerprints on this knife right off.
Oh, that's right. Nicholas Shamrock wears gloves, doesn't he?
He probably took his gloves off before he began stabbing. Does this sound logic, Edgeworth? I know you're very smart, but this one doesn't sound smart at all. Took his glove to stab a person. Why? Let's assume why. If he does that, why does he want to do that? To incriminate himself? And why would he do something like that? To leave his prints on a murder weapon. There's no way he would do something like that. However, there's one possibility. And let's hear your possibility. It's very simple. The defendant went to the victim's room while in costume as Nicholas Shamrock. At that time, the defendant held no intent to murder. He was probably just going to relax and talk with the victim about a staged show. Which is why he took his gloves off.
But a murder still did take place.
That's not really I don't really see. That's like, yeah, there's some possibility. But is like any other possibility, it doesn't make sense. It makes more sense that he's wearing his gloves. It's well known that there was bad blood between the defendant and the victim.
Yes, I have heard that before. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say about Mr. Edgeworth's theory?
So let me get it straight. Edgeworth's theory goes like this. When the defendant went to the victim's room, he had no intention of killing him. Now, up to this point, are there any problems with his theory? I guess there is no problem with the theory? Bum 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 bum. There is a contradiction. This theory contradicts something in an earlier testimony. What are you babbling about? Now, for argument's sake, let's suppose Mr. Angard was the killer. If that's the case, I think it's impossible for the killer to have gone to the victim's room without intent. The knife, I believe.
Take that!
This knife. This was used by Mr. Angard at dinner.
Yes, we did establish that.
Which means that if my client was, in fact, the killer, then he would brought this knife with him when he went to visit Mr. Corridor, I suppose. However, you just said it yourself. At that time, the defendant had held no intent to murder. If that were true, then why would he bring a knife? He wouldn't, would he? Which means, Mr. Edgeworth, your theory was flawed from supposition 1. And one more thing. If the murderer was wearing the costume at the time of the murder, then there should be glove marks left on the knife. What's glove marks? Which means the defendant's fingerprint should be all elevated like bees on a hive. Yeah, if the murderer were to have used the knife to stab the person, any fingerprints on it would have been wiped away. So I wouldn't say it's glove marks. There probably would not have any fingerprints left, or at the very least, the fingerprints on the knife would have been smudged by the gloves. And that brings me to my final point. This knife was planted by the real killer to hide their identity and mislead us.
Order, I say. Order in the court. Is this knife really planted by the killer? Why would the murderer do such a thing?
To frame Matt on guard. It's to frame my client, Miss On Guard, of course.
To frame?
Aren't you forcing the interpretation just a little too hard on this one? But we just established that the witness saw the Nickel Shamrai in costume. And if that were true, there shouldn't be a single fingerprint on his knife. Grr. Witness! Looks like I've made your life a tiny bit more difficult, huh, Edgy Poo? Grr.
Witness, did you or did you not really see the Nickel Shamrai?
Well, I guess at first I might have forgotten, but... Are you saying you mix up Miss On Guard with the Nickel Miss Shamrai, this character on TV? But I mean, I can't really do anything about that now. Look, I was waiting around in front of the outdoors because, well, I was waiting around for Nickel Shamrai, that's for sure. She wasn't waiting for the Nickel Shamrai. Alright then. Who were you waiting around for then? Huh, that's top secret to anyone outside of security.
I have a feeling that you were waiting for Mr. Juan Corrida. Am I correct, witness?
Ha ha ha. The way you think. A sad amateur with a terrible case of nearsightedness.
Amateur? Me? What am I an amateur for?
So Old Bank was waiting around in front of the victim's room, but it doesn't sound like she was waiting to catch a glimpse of Mr. Corrida. Maybe Phoenix, maybe the Old Bank was waiting around for that person. If it's who I think Mia's hinting at, it's certainly possible. Miss Old Bank, you were waiting for this person to come out of the victim's room, weren't you? Adrian Andrews, I believe. Dire Bear! For Old Bag. What, you want me to do Old Bag with an old man voice or something? Okay, but yeah, this is gonna be difficult, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm guessing it's her, I don't know. And if it's not Nickel Shamrai, if it's not our client, the only one left that's possibly might be the person, it would be Adrian Andrews. Yep, it is. Take that! Hey, are you? I'm good. Good.
Who is this person?
This is Adrian Andrews, Mr. On Guard's manager.
But why would the defendant's manager be in the victim's room?
It seems that this is the latest rumor in circulation, Your Honor.
Oh, this is... I see.
The judge seems to be really into the article, if it can be called such a thing.
And this manager with the initials AA, are you saying it's...
Adrian Andrews? Without a doubt, the witness thought so as well.
Oh no.
Looks like you found me out. Well, that's fine. I throw away this whole sort of confidentiality stuff then.
Witness, what in the world are you?
Watch out, Phoenix. I've got a bad feeling about this. A very bad feeling.
I got some information. Some very secret information from a certain source. So that's why I was doing my own little investigation. It's secret, of course.
For what?
Oh, just for myself. Personal reasons and all that.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, how will you proceed from here?
I really don't want to do this. However, I cannot simply let this point slide.
I see. Very well then. Witness, please testify about this secret information.
Get ready. This is going to take the wind out of your young'uns.
I'm sure we're all capable of handling this. Really, it's not like we're 10 years old. Secret information.
That on guard is one evil, evil man. He thought he could ruin poor Juan by causing a huge scandal. So to do that, he set his own manager to get in close with Juan. I cannot condone such dirty tricks, so I took action. Oh, and this is top secret. You got that? Nobody else but you and me know yet, okay?
The defendant sent this manager. What a distasteful topic for this court.
What? Nobody's above gossip. And isn't there a saying? The truth is never pleasant.
Never heard that one before.
Mr. Edgeworth, what about this Adrian Andrews person?
We have to look into this matter and found that the truth the article proposes is, in fact, baseless gossip.
But should this be true, then this proves that the defendant did bear ill will towards the victim.
So this means I have to smash this rumor once and all for all.
Now then, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Be careful. The old bag seems rather excited right now.
That's right. On guard is nothing but your average foul-blooded youth.
Well, as the old saying goes, you've got to burn old bags with fire. Time to fire up the afterburners and hit the highway to the danger zone. That is Lane, Phoenix. Who says that? Don't even think about it. Okay, okay, that is subjective. You're involved by causing a huge scandal. Get in close with Juan. I cannot condone such tricks, so I took action. Roaster. Let me see. Press. Don't want to waste everyone's time, so let's just go straight to it. Wait.
What? I'm a busy woman. Tea time with the kids is over.
Secret information that no one else knows yet. Is that true? If that's true, then how do you know this secret information?
Oh, well, that's because I'm a pro. That's it. It's a secret. Even if you drilled a hole into my brain, you'll never find out.
How in the world did that old bat get such a secret piece of information? I would say camera. Yeah, camera. So no one else is supposed to know this secret information, correct? If that's true, then why do you know it, Miss Old Bag?
Why are you looking at me like that? Stop that.
Witness. I hate to say it, but this is how you came to acquire your secret info, isn't it? The investigative photographer, Lauter Hart.
Oh yes, I remember that mischievous girl.
She reported that she had lost a certain note she had written to herself.
She reported such a thing?
On that piece of paper, she had written down some of her impressions about the relationship between the victim and Miss Andrews.
What? Outrageous ideas, you say?
No. I say impressions.
Then everything written on this piece of paper is completely meaningless.
Ah, that's it. That's the note.
No, you see, this is something completely different. This is my top secret list of groceries to buy.
And you are the one who took Miss Hart's note. I'm a huge fan of ones, that's why. That infamous puffy-haired whippersnapper. She's working with that evil On Guard. She says so herself. On Guard, I'm his psychic. She was so happy, smiling like a silly duck. I was only checking what she had written.
Okay. You've admitted to a crime. Edgy Poo, you believe me, don't you?
I was only trying to help out like the angel I am. It's only one little piece of paper. I've never taken anything else before.
You really should come with a supply of cheese to match your vintage wine.
Well, it was only a piece of evidence. Paper. I suppose we can overlook this just this once.
She looks like she's really sorry. Should I forgive her? Pile on more pressure. If I let up on her now, she'll get away. If I have to find some way to inflict a deafening blow to prosecution. Witness. You said that the only thing you stole was that note. Is this correct?
Stole? Why don't you listen more carefully, you annoying brat? I saved this piece of paper from the terrible lonely trash can, that's all.
Make overage BBQ out of. You're lying, damn it, and I can prove it.
Are you putting my credibility under scrutiny again?
Miss Oldbag, I don't believe that the note is the only thing you stole that night. You stole... You stole this? I feel like you stole magazine clipping as well. Or not. Wait, the camera as well. Sorry, I was not paying attention. I thought we already established that the camera is missing and she was the one who stole it. Oh, we're just saying she stole the note. Okay. Miss Oldbag, that note was with a camera inside its case, wasn't it?
A camera?
Yesterday, Lotta Hart was raising a huge stink over her camera. She kept saying something like, "My sweetie $1,600 camera disappeared on me."
Why? Witness.
What? Okay, I think I should go back to Oldbag's original voice. What is it, Gramps? If you have the note, then it is only logical that you have the camera too.
Grr, looks like you found me out again, Sonny. Is this the camera you're looking for?
Ah, that's...
What? Even though I look like this, I'm still a person, you know? I still eat meals like you. I fall in love and borrow things from people.
I think your definition of borrow is a little off.
I saw that woman's business card and that's when I noticed it said, Slimebag Celebrities Photographer Extraordinaire. Well, when I saw that, I had to know what sort of pictures he had taken. I'm a professional security guard. It's my business to know these things.
Bailiff, check this camera's photos. Hurry. We must examine them at once. Well, Mr. Ashworth, what do we have?
There's only one photo that seems to be relevant to the case.
Please present it to the court.
It is the Nickel Shamroy, but nowhere can we see that it's our client though.
Is this the Nickel Shamroy?
See, I told you, that's the guy I saw.
This proves that a witness was not lying earlier about this matter. What does this all mean, Mr. Ashworth?
This photo by itself does not prove that the person in it is the defendant. However, In his own confession, Mr. Arngard clearly stated that at the time of the murder, he was still in his Nico Shamrai costume.
If that is the case, then this Nico Shamrai is...
The defendant. Why did my client say that? Who told him to say that?
Oh no. How did it come to this? I think this brings us to the end. We have examined every piece of evidence thoroughly. Final comments, Mr. Wright? The court will consider them before we close. Do you agree that this photo is a decisive evidence against your client?
This photo really is decisive, and we're done for. We'd have I raise an objection here and blow it, and put Maya's life in jeopardy. I can't make a mistake here. There's only one road out of this mess. This photo that Lotta took, there's something strange with it. There's something strange with this photo. I knew this was coming, right?
Your thoughts, Mr. Hatchworth?
I think we can all agree there is nothing strange with this photo. There's no way for the defense to debunk this photo, even with a bunker buster.
Debunk with a bunker buster? Is that what you're planning to do, Mr. Wright?
Anyway, please look at the photo one more time.
If you really believe you can honestly find something wrong with this photo, that you should only need one chance, correct?
Well, I have to find something wrong with this photo. I can't let this chance go by. Where in the heck did she take this photo from anyway? It's all out of focus. Why can't she take a good shot, especially when it counts?
Now then, let's hear your objection. What about this photo is strange?
I'm gonna say it's the flowers. Because if we're saying this photo is him coming out of Juan Corrida's room, is it really Juan Corrida's room? I'm gonna check. Should I click on? No, apparently not. I should click on the flowers. I should be clicking on... Oh, okay. Well, I don't have a chance to look at pictures now, but apparently... apparently when the client was if you see other promotional pictures, his leg is visible. Apparently in this one, his leg is not visible. Take that! I would like to direct the court's attention to this one area right here.
What are you pointing to? His ankles?
If you could see this person's ankles, that would be one thing. However, you can't.
Ed, what does that mean?
The costume person in this photo could not have been Mr. Arngard.
What is the meaning of this?
Objection!
I wonder if you care to elaborate with actual facts, that is. Let's take a look at the Nico Shamrai's poster. Please pay a particular attention to the area around the bottom of the hakama.
His socks. You can see his socks.
Okay. Exactly. However, in this photo, the Nico Shamrai is clear holding his karma just to walk. There is only one explanation for this.
Strange.
Luciel!
Hydrate.
Hydrate, well. Alright. Welcome, welcome. How was your day? Good? Hope it's good. The person inside this costume is clearly much shorter than the defendant. Alright, I think I've turned things around for myself this time. That's curious. Huh? What is? Edgeworth is unusually calm today. That's true. Oh no, what? This is the fifth or sixth day already. But there shouldn't be any more fireworks. That's true. He's just letting the trial run itself, as if he's only along for the ride. Along for the ride? What do you mean by that? I can only guess that perhaps he doesn't feel under attack at all. He doesn't feel under attack? Then I haven't damaged his case at all. Nope, it's not like that. It's because it's not how trials should work like.
Mr. Edgeworth, where does this leave us? If the person in this photo is not met on guard, and everything the prosecution has tried to prove has become meaningless.
Not exactly. I figured it would come to this. What? Right. I have something I want to ask you. I think you have proven that the person inside this costume is not met on guard. In that case, who is this a photo of? Who is the person wearing the Nico Shamrock costume? Don't stress out over this, Phoenix. It's very simple. What you should be focused on is Edgeworth's attitude, don't you think? Yeah, why is he so calm?
Mr. Wright, let's hear your thoughts. Who is the person in this photograph?
Adrian Andrews.
Adrian Andrews?
If you want to know who that Nico Shamrock is, it is none other than this woman. And why would you say it must be Miss Andrews? What in the world points you to her? For starters, she's short, and you can freely move in and out of Mr. Angard's room. Finally, she had dinner with Mr. Angard that night.
And how does it all add up?
It means that it makes it very easy for her to get a certain item. A certain knife with Mr. Angard's fingerprints all over it.
The knife that was used as a murder weapon.
Why don't you just say what it is what you want, right? I have to do this now. This is my last chance to turn things around. The defense moves to indict Miss Adrian Andrews in the murder of Juan Corrida. It was Miss Andrews who tried to frame the defendant for the crime.
Order! 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 It looks like this trial has hit a most unexpected development. Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes, Your Honor.
This court is issuing a subpoena for Miss Adrian Andrews. A verdict cannot be passed without first hearing her testimony.
All right, this is it. This is kind of bad for us. Huh? What do you mean? If Adrian Andrews is summoned to court as a witness, it means that the trial will go on for another day. One more day? Ugh. If I don't get the verdict today, then
Now then, we shall set Miss Andrews' testimony for tomorrow.
What am I supposed to do? The judge is about to adjourn the court. Raise an objection.
Now then.
Please, Your Honor, continue the trial. You must pass a verdict today.
I can't do that. We cannot hear Miss Andrews' testimony if she's not...
I abhor wasting such valuable time. Edgeworth? I already have prepared a witness. Your Honor, I request that you please continue with today's trial.
But we cannot continue due to this unexpected development.
Tis. Unexpected development? I think you underestimate me, Your Honor.
What do you mean by that?
that Mr. Phoenix Wright would slave his way to subpoenaing Miss Adrian Andrews is all happening according to plan, even if Wright was a bit slow to catch on. What?
What is the meaning of your statement, Mr. Edgeworth?
Miss Adrian Andrews is currently waiting in the prosecution's lobby. She is the next witness. Everything was planned out in advance by that man. Somehow, I knew there was no way Edgeworth would overlook Miss Andrews. Looks like this battle is far from over. Exactly.
Very well. We will call the next witness. However, before we proceed, we shall take a 10-minute short recess. Please prepare your witness in that time, Mr. Edgeworth. The court will now take a 10-minute recess.
Oh boy. That's part 1. Part 1 takes an hour. And there's part 2. Part 2 takes probably an hour as well. And we have investigation. Apparently we have not investigation. I planned things. Should plan things properly next time. But oh wells. Alright. Let's save and continue. March 22nd, 2:14 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. Dude, I can't believe that Adrian... No way, not cool and collected Adrian Andrews. She's your manager. It would have been very easy for her to pull this off. The only person who had easy access to the knife you used at dinner was, well, her. So, after the ceremony, during the break, I was sleeping like a lord the entire time. See? She could have also easily planted that blood-covered button in your hakama. Because she was the one that came to wake me up. Then, dude, you're saying it really was her? Yes, she is the real killer. She was the one who murdered Juan Corrida. But why? I thought she was birds with one. She has her own agenda. Own agenda? What are you talking about? I'm sure you'll see by the time this trial's over. It'll be alright. I'll get you acquitted by the end of the day. Get me a verdict. It's refreshing like a spring breeze, okay, Mr. Lawyer Dude? Phoenix. You think her motive is related to Celeste Impact's missing suicide note, right? Yes. Miss Andrews depended on Miss Impact as a strength and reason to live. But then Miss Impact suddenly killed herself. It sounds like she left a suicide note and the person thought to have hidden it is Juan Corrida, the victim of his murder. And that's why I think Miss Andrews got close to Mr. Corrida, all to get the suicide note back. That sounds plausible, but one thing bothers me. What? Who is it that first told us about their relationship? Better stated, Miss Andrews' dependency issues with regards to Miss Impact's. It was Edgeworth. It looks like he's still the one in command of this ship. Don't let your guard down yet. March 22nd, 2:25 p.m. District Court, Courtroom number 3.
Court will now reconvene. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you please.
The prosecution calls the witness subpoenaed by this court. Miss Adrian Andrews, the person who discovered the crime in Mr. Juan Corrida's room. Interestingly enough, somehow Edgeworth is able to subpoena a witness without the judge's knowledge. What is your occupation? I am the manager of the defendant in this case, Mr. Matt on guard.
I see. Now then.
Before we begin, Your Honor, I have a request.
Yes, sure. What is it?
I'm sure everyone in this room is wondering the same thing, and would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently.
Ah, no, I have no idea what you mean. I've never even heard of Gossip Land.
If the judge was ever a prosecution witness, he'd do all the work for me. Anyway, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relation to the victim. Yes, I was seeing Mr. Corrida. I was also aware of the rivalry that existed between Matt and Juan. But this was a private matter between Juan and myself.
So it was a fry and bait matter? Or was that bait and fry? Reminds me of fishing.
But I didn't kill him. No one is accusing you of that, except for, that guy over there. I think there's someone who would beg to differ.
I think we all understand your relationship with the victim now, Miss Andrews.
Very well then. Witness, please testify to the court. But what happened when you discovered the murder that had taken place? When you found a body. It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room. And there was his dead body. I was in shock. What I saw was, naturally, the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. Okay.
You poured yourself a glass of juice?
Yes, sadly. I didn't remember not to touch things at the scene of a crime. I disturbed the crime scene by moving this one thing. And that is when the fingerprints on wine glass were made, Your Honor.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Phoenix. She is one cool and collected customer, and she has the brains to match. Yes, I know. In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontations. You should disrupt her pacing. Disrupt her pacing? She's the type of woman who is easily thrown off by things inconsistent with her thinking. So you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense is the instant this trial is over. Understand? Alright. Let me just look at the thing. I don't want to waste everyone's time. Alright. In shock? You were in shock. What? Was I not supposed to be? Miss Andrews is a very calculating person, and despite how close they were, I thought she had romantic feelings for Mr. Corrida. Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock, and you can't seriously expect that a young beauty like her would not be shocked. Somehow, I don't think beauty has anything to do with being shocked or not.
I see.
Okay. Okay. Juice. Yes, there was a bottle of tomato juice on the table, so I helped myself. But you didn't drink any of it, did you? Huh? There were no lip marks left on this wine glass to suggest that anyone drank from it. I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set a glass down without drinking it. Miss Andrews, I would like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the dead body of Juan Corrida, you were in great shock. And that's when you poured yourself the great glass of juice, correct? And what of it? My mind really was a complete blank at the time. Your mind was a complete blank. I didn't think that was possible for you. Aren't you rude today? I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake. That one thing. What one thing? Never mind, it's no big deal. What was you starting to say just now? Press further. Miss Andrews, I'm convinced that as you said, you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake was. Actually, so would I. I'm sorry, it's kind of embarrassing. When I set the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over.
Flower vase? Are you talking about one on the floor in the crime photo?
I see.
This mess of the glass shards.
It was originally on top of the dresser. When I bumped into it with my elbow, it fell onto the guitar case. Why did you withhold such an important piece of information? I'm sorry. I thought that since the crime scene was already in disarray, people would simply assume the vase was just another part of the mess.
It looks like yet another fact has come to light here. Please add this and anything else you'd have to review to your testimony.
I'm sorry, but I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else. This is an obvious contradiction. But do I have like a full crime photo scene? I think it's this one. Present key. Or okay, either one.
Objection!
You testified that you knocked the flower vase over. Is that correct? Yes. And are you sure it fell onto the guitar case? Is there some problem with what I said? It's not some problem, it's a major problem. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what is so strange. Miss Andrews, you testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However, if that was true, the case should have gotten wet on the inside, not the outside.
That's very true.
Furthermore, there's one other strange thing about this guitar case.
What is that?
Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. The remains of the vase are scattered on the floor.
But what is wrong with that?
If the guitar case was open when the vase fell, the glass shards should be inside, not outside the case.
Objection!
What is your point, right? That the case was closed at the time the vase was locked over? Is that all?
Objection!
No. Think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. She didn't implicitly say she didn't touch the guitar case.
Objection!
But this whole matter with the guitar case is dead end. The bright red guitar was found in the studio. There's no bearing on this case at all. That may very well be. However, the empty guitar case does seem to have no relation to this case, doesn't it?
It seems there is no deeper meaning to the guitar case. Well, Mr. Wright, do you think we need to hear more details about the guitar case?
Make her testify. The empty guitar case. I believe this is a crucial piece of the puzzle. Heh, I can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this, but it is you. I can't believe I'm doing this either.
All right, I'll follow along. For now. Miss Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case.
Yes, Your Honor. Alright. I sometimes wonder if this is like an optional thing or it's not really optional. I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. That's why I opened the case. Even I don't know. Well, that is vague.
It looks like this really wasn't a very important point.
This wistfulness is such a familiar feeling by now that it's almost comforting. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and start the cross-examination. Using anyway to change the topic. A convenient escape for a weak man.
I got burned. Burned so much.
Alright. Apparently I can just press any of it. So, you open the guitar case then? Yes, well, maybe. Why did you open the guitar case? Huh? Mr. Corridor's dead body was right there in front of you, wasn't it? I wouldn't think that the first thing you would do is call for help, not open the guitar case.
Objection!
As the witness has said multiple times, when she found the dead body, she was dazed. Maybe I was curious to know if the bright red guitar was alright or not. I thought maybe the criminal took it. Why would she care about the bright red guitar? But getting back on topic. Okay. Was it really empty? I was just wondering if maybe when you opened the case, the guitar was still inside.
Objection!
How long have you been a lawyer, Mr. Wright? Oops, I didn't. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. This trial would be over in half the time if you would just pay attention.
Yes, pay more attention, Mr. Wright.
Sorry. Was that because you were shocked and dazed at discovering the victim's body? Yes, that's probably it. I'm not going to get anywhere if I continue pressing her like this. The only way to make her talk is with evidence. I guess I should give it a try. Come on, Phoenix. We can't afford to let up on her now. I was planning on letting up, but she's at her weakest now, so this is our chance. If I had a weapon to hit her with, I'm sure a weapon is hiding somewhere in the court record, waiting to be found. Well, I'm pretty stumped as to what I need to do, though. Apparently, game walkthrough is telling me that I should present guitar case. Bears Corridor's fingerprints. Only his fingerprints.
Objection!
If she did open it, it would have her fingerprints as well. There's no way you were the one who opened the guitar case. Why would you say that? It's elementary, my dear. Because the only fingerprints on this guitar case are those of the victim. Ah.
What is it, Miss Andrews?
You shouldn't assume that I must have left fingerprints just because I touched the case. What do you mean? What if I were to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time?
Gloves? Why would you be wearing gloves at the time?
It was the night of the award ceremony, so of course I dressed up for the occasion. Yes, now I remember. I'm not sure I was wearing a pair of thin gloves.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems the witness was wearing gloves at the scene of crime.
That's strange. You were wearing gloves? Isn't that a little strange? Why is that strange? Do you have something that would prove I was not wearing gloves at the time? Yeah, the wine glass.
Take that!
I have your proof right here, this wine glass. The wine glass? You left your fingerprints very clearly on this wine glass. Ah. Even if you took your gloves off when you poured yourself this glass of juice, wouldn't you think it was just a little strange that you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case? Ugh. Oh no. Oh, she has so many spares. Oh, I forgot. There's a lot of spare glasses.
Order, order, order.
Looks like you hit the nail on the head this time. What do you mean? I believe that guitar case plays a very important role here. But it's just an empty case. I wonder if it really was empty though. But the guitar, the bright red guitar was at the studio. Phoenix, drop all of your presumptions. What was in the guitar case was not the bright red guitar. You don't mean it was a bright white guitar? Wait, that's not right either.
I'd admit it would be unnatural for someone to do that. So the witness was not wearing gloves, despite the fact that on the case...
Objection!
Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. Steer the court towards an unrelated topic and lull us all into his misguided.
Objection!
No, Your Honor, please recall that Miss Andrews had testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case, which means that the case was closed when the crime took place. However, it is wide open in this photo of the crime scene. I'm sure this guitar case has some relation to the murder.
Objection!
If you are so sure, right, then I'm sure you can somehow substantiate your outrageous claim, correct? Please, enlighten us as to why that guitar case has anything at all to do with this murder.
Can you do that, Mr. Wright?
Well, let's suppose for a second the bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been in the case.
The bright red guitar not being the only thing? You don't mean to suggest that a bright red...
So, bright black guitar. What's with all the synchronicity? Like, anyhow. So, you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty. Is that it, right? Don't say something I didn't intend to prove. Deflate that head of yours. You haven't proven anything yet. Now then, let's have it. What was inside this case at the time of the murder? I'm gonna say the Nico Shamrai's costume is what was inside the case. Other than that, I have no idea what else there could be inside it. But then I don't really have what do you call evidence directly showing it, only with this one. Yeah, apparently it is this one.
Take that!
This is a photograph.
Yes, but what is important is what is in that picture, Your Honor.
In this picture?
It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I'm proposing is... inside the guitar case was Nico Shamrai, Hugh's very own costume. What?
Mr. Wright, explain yourself.
Right. Are you saying that the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? What insane point would there be to be doing that, something like that? That insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews put it on to hide her identity so she could make her escape. After all, you couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews? I refuse to accept your theory. Do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea? Just outside the door was an investigative photographer was starving for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get this shot, correct?
You mean this photo? Order! Looks like we've wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we?
Nice job, Phoenix. Well, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later.
So the real murderer was hiding inside a costume.
Objection!
Wait 1 second, Your Honor. The Nico Shamrai's costume would have been Mr. Matt Engarde's. Why would something of the independence be in the victim's room? And inside the guitar case of all places.
True, that is a little baffling. Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was this Nico Shamrai costume doing inside a guitar case?
It was stolen from an Engarde. I believe that is the case. Yeah, stolen from Engarde. Oh no, apparently not. It was a spare costume. Mr. Engarde did not take his costume off during the break period. In that case, the costume we are talking about was a spare one. What?
Then are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Nico Shamrai costumes at a Gatewater hotel?
Yes, that is what I'm saying.
How do you explain the costume that was inside a guitar case?
It would mean that the victim himself had brought his spare to the ceremony on purpose.
But why? The victim, Mr. Corridor, was the jamming ninja. Why would he secretly bring the Nico Shamrai's spare costume with him? What could be the reason behind such a peculiar act?
And therein lies the sticking point.
Objection!
What are you mumbling to yourself about now? Have you just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue? No, I just...
Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had the Nico Shamrai spare costume?
Phoenix, I'll show you you can explain this one. Think carefully before you answer, and then answer with gusto. I believe in you. Alright, this is what I think. The reason the victim brought the Nico Shamrai spare costume to the hotel was to do a confession post-ceremony stage show. I think this would be the thing. Yes.
What is this?
On the night of murder, after the stage show, the Nico Shamrai was going to hold a special press conference.
A press conference?
Yes, the Nico Shamrai was supposed to confess something at this conference. I heard about this as well, but once you're not making something up right. What struck me as strange was that Mr. Engarde himself said he had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night.
But how can that be?
The way I see it, it can mean only one thing. The conference was set up by none other than the victim, Mr. Juan Corridor himself.
The victim?
Yes. The spare Nico Shamrai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Corridor was going to hold the press conference as Nico Shamrai.
He was going to dress up as a Nico Shamrai and hold a conference.
You don't have to repeat everything what I just said, okay, Judge?
But why would the victim do such a thing?
It's something I don't quite know yet. However, what I'm concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at the conference. The Nico Shamrai was going to confess something. By confess, at which he was going to reveal something about himself. Which means that Juan Corridor, posing as a Nico Shamrai, was going to speak about Matt Engarde.
Yes, I guess that is what it would mean.
But if that's the case, it's not a confession, that's public disclosure. Okay.
Miss Andrews.
I can see why you're so pros at what you do.
Pardon me.
Yes, just as you say. The press conference was set up by Juan.
Miss Andrews, please offer us an explanation for this.
I was the one he asked to help set it up. And the person who prepared the second costume for him. That was also me.
Phew.
Juan had bet everything on the Jamming Ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought anyway.
Who's going to ruin him? Huh?
It looked like somehow Juan had his hands a secret so powerful it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed. What?
And do you know what the secret of Mr. On Guard is, Miss Andrews?
That's something only Juan knew. I don't know what it is.
I see.
I've probably been coming off quite suspicious to everyone, but that's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt, after all. But protect Miss On Guard?
And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, if you could, please tell us about your behavior.
Yes, Your Honor, I understand. Protecting Matt. Okay. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill Juan no matter what, and he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course, the button and the knife, but I'm Matt's manager, and I felt I had to protect him. Wait, by putting the button in his costume?
This does account for everything.
Well, I'm the logical type. We're finally seeing her true self. She is more nervous than a scared rabbit.
If the defense can find no fault with this testimony, I'm ready to make a ruling. Please keep that in mind as you cross-examine Mr. Wright.
Looks like somehow everything has swung to the opposite end of the scale again. It just means I have to put my weight into this and turn her logic upside down. Protecting Matt? Press this statement. Would you say that was your intuition speaking to you? Don't confuse my methods of reasoning with your own. I got burned. If you want to prove that someone did something, you need 3 things. 3 things? A motive, an opportunity to commit a crime, and finally, decisive evidence. Well, are you a lawyer or something? If you think these 3 things through, the answer becomes quite clear. You should have already known that, Phoenix. They didn't teach that to us in school. At least, not from what I remember. What? What law school have you been in, Phoenix? Let's continue now. About what I was doing at the time of the murder. This is the most suspicious one. You can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. The fingerprints on the knife could very well be of clever camouflage. Then, what about the button? The button? It's clear from the crime scene that the victim and his murderer fought, and during the fight, the killer ripped the button from the Jamming Ninja's costume.
You're talking about this button, correct?
But wait, didn't he die from strangulation? Dan stabbed with a knife. So how would that? Why would the button be? I don't know. I mean, could be, I guess. There's a possibility that when he died. Nah, let me look at the crime scene photo. Yeah, he's already dead. Then he was stabbed. There shouldn't be any struggle, and if he's already dead and got stabbed, button should still be there, right? The button should still be where it is when he's dead, when a knife was stabbed into him. So that's why blood is on it. But then, yeah, so that means the button wasn't from a struggle, right? Why did it came off? Right? Why did the button come off and so happen to be in our client's costume? I would think that makes it very decisive evidence. Ugh.
Looks like you were outfoxed again, Mr. Wright.
Anyway, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony. I can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat. Thank goodness Mel can still look at me. With an icy stare, yes.
Miss Andrews, for Mr. Wright's sake, please add this information to your testimony.
Yeah, I think this is the evidence. I can... I'm not even gonna look at it if I'm right or wrong, because I am very sure. This is the victim's autopsy report. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by a scarf. Strangulation? The knife stab to the victim was done after the victim had already died.
And what does that mean?
Let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it, which would mean that it was ripped off of the costume. When? After the knife was stabbed into the victim. Exactly. Which means it is impossible that this button was torn off during the victim's final struggle, because the victim was strangled to death in that fight. That's right, Miss Andrews. There is no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. This button was consciously pulled off the victim's already dead body.
Order! Order! What was his meaning?
What is the meaning of this, right? So what if the button was torn off the body after the victim already died? What does that change? Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve? What purpose? We now know this button was not torn off during the fight, so the murderer took the time and effort to purposely rip this from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it? Yeah, I mean, pretty dumb for the murderer, or at least the person who planted the evidence. If I were the murderer, I probably would have cleaned the button off the blood of... no, either I clean off the blood on the button, or just rip the button off and put it inside the costume. There won't be any blood, and might indicate that, yeah, that button was pulled off when they were struggling, when they were fighting, I guess.
Mr. Wright, does this mean you know that the murderer wanted to do with this button? What was it?
To have a memento of the crime, to pin the crime on God. There's only one logical reason for doing something like that. It was to pin the crime on Mr. Arngard. There's no way anyone would put a bloodied button in their own pants. That's right, Mr. Arngard was set up. By the real killer, of course.
And the real murderer is... well, Mr. Wright, who in the world is the real killer then?
Finally. I can't believe I managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point. Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet. Not until the very end. The real killer, The person who planned to frame Mr. OnGuard is Adrian Andrews. Yep. Miss Adrian Andrews, I choose you. Fight! Pokemon. Reference. Don't know how to say it. Anyhow, you are Mr. Corridor's killer. What?
Order, order, order. Mr. Wright, this is a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence that supports your charge?
Any evidence? All of the evidence points to Miss Andrews. How preposterous! You can't stick any of that on me. I can't, can I? Would you care to test me? Then what about his knife? The knife was used to stab the victim after he had already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion onto Mr. OnGuard, naturally. The knife covering the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his room. And the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you. Tusk! Then, what about the button that was found in Matt's Hakama? This button was removed from the victim's body after he had already died. The only people who could have done so were the person who found his body or the killer. However, if Mr. OnGuard was the real killer, there is no way he would have put such incriminating evidence in his own Hakama. The only person who could have put this button into Mr. OnGuard's Hakama is the person who went to wake him from his nap, which is you, yet again, Miss Andrews.
I see. What about the empty guitar case?
That is also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. That costume was used to hide the real killer identity as they fled the crime scene. Now, who could have known that there was just a costume inside the guitar case? It could only have been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Mr. Adrian Andrews? No, I...
Objection!
But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the guitar case. It was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time.
Yes, right.
That's because she did not intend on leaving any prints. If anyone had found out that she had touched the case, they would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. But the glass of tomato juice is a different story. Miss Andrews purposely left her fingerprints on the glass to show that yes, indeed, she was the classic days discoverer of a dead body. Ah! And to top it all off, there's this photo. A photo of the killer as they exited the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on earth can believe this nickel samurai is Mr. OnGuard. He will be much too short for his own costume if it's him. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not? Please, stop. Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? I've got it this time.
Miss Andrews?
I refuse to testify. What was that? There's a law. It says I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me.
Well, yes. You're absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination. By allowing a witness to not testify, the testimony can cause damage to themselves.
What? Pleading a fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. I Actually, thinking back to yesterday in Mr. Ongar's room. Adrian Andrews. Yes? Think hard about what you just discussed. Understood. Alright. That's it. That's when Francisca planted this idea into her head. She must have told Miss Andrews to not testify if things looked bad. You did a good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. But there is still one thing you haven't done. Something I haven't done? Heh. What's wrong, right? Are you finished already? Run out of evidence?
What is so humorous, Mr. Edgeworth?
I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless. What? Everything you have proven is circumstantial. Circumstantial? Yes, circumstantial. You have yet to provide a single piece of definitive proof. Proof that Miss Andrews did in fact harbor a wish to murder Mr. Corridor.
Miss Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Corridor?
I believe this may lead to me incriminating myself, so I abstain from answering.
But Miss Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting your guilt, don't you think?
Maybe so, or maybe not. There's nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence. No, she's taking the defiant attitude again. Mia, what should we do? Somehow, we've landed in the worst possible situation.
I think we have reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Miss Adrian Andrews has refused to testify. The defense's theory that she is an actual murderer has not been fully substantiated with solid, definitive proof.
But that's not true.
In this situation, there's only one thing this court can do. And that is to declare a recess.
Recess?
I request that both the prosecution and the defense look further into this matter, and at tomorrow's trial.
Tomorrow?
We don't
have a tomorrow. We don't get a not guilty verdict today, then. Please wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial... Please continue the trial. What are you sweating for? Your client's getting one more day to live, isn't he? That's not it. This isn't about that. Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If I don't get a verdict, then Maya...
But it's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Now then, this court is...
Objection!
It is not impossible for this trial to continue.
Mr. Ashworth, what are you...
It's true, Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic of conversation was something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony.
Yes, that is very true, but...
Actually, there's only one little thing that I'm curious about. Miss Andrews. I love Edgeworth. When you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice. Yes, and I can't help but think how unnatural that is. Usually, when one finds a body, they are shaken up, not stirring a glass of juice. So my actions were unusual, but I've already... Before you speak, I want to state that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect. To testify? Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. You understand, old bag? Whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness. I don't know what it is about Edgeworth today, but I can't get a good read off of him. Is he a friend or foe? I just don't know.
Well, if you just,
stop and talk to each other for a sec, and I decide that, the defense or the prosecution's job is not to make sure one or the other win. Their job is to make sure the trial or the court process is done in both fairness and also within compliance of all regulations and laws and stuff. It's not about who's going to win or lose, all right? And things would be so much easier.
The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Miss Andrews, if you please.
The glass of juice, I didn't really pour it for myself. I was surprised when I walked into the room and saw it in that messy state. And Juan, he was sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice. When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over.
So you poured that glass of juice for the victim. Why did you say so in your earlier testimony?
I didn't think I needed to include something so trivial. Phoenix, please be careful here. If you can't find anything wrong with this testimony, then there's nothing left. I know. Edgeworth, what the heck is going on in that brain of yours?
Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Wait, what's this statement? 1, 2, 3, 4. He's not dead with a stab wound all like that.
Objection!
Are you just blind or something? So you honestly didn't think he was dead when you found him? No, not at all. Even though this is what you saw when you discovered the body.
What is the meaning of this?
Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? There's a knife sticking straight out of Mr. Corridor's chest. Anyone who saw this scene would have immediately thought that there was a dead man. Well, you see, I doubt a single person in the world would mistake this for someone who fainted, and then so nonchalantly go pour something to drink.
Your point is...
Miss Andrews, your testimony just now is all one giant lie. And your lie has proven one thing very clearly, that you are the real killer. No.
Oh no. It looks like the defense has somehow brought the ugly truth to light. The defendant, Mr. Mattern-God, is not guilty after all.
But that's impossible. You're wrong.
Miss Andrews, try to have some composure.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you. It was Matt. I swear it. He's the one who killed Juan. But you were the one who refused to testify. And your reason for not doing so was that you might end up incriminating yourself. That's because...
Miss Andrews, I will give you one last chance. What exactly are you hiding that may incriminate you?
I refuse to testify.
Then there is no need for this court to continue any further. Mr. Matt Ongar's innocence has been clearly demonstrated.
Is it over? Have we found the truth at last? What's wrong, Phoenix? Usually the real killer confesses his or her guilt, like an anime or some game, you know? And now that I think about it, this is the first time someone hasn't.
Now then, I would like to hand down my verdict for Mr. Matt Ongar.
Objection!
Your Honor, the prosecution feels that it would be premature to pass down a verdict at this time.
What?
The reason is quite simple. This witness has yet to speak the absolute, real truth.
The absolute, real truth? What are you?
Witness, don't you understand yet? Huh? I don't know who planted this silly idea in your head, but as long as you protect yourself through your silence, Matt Ongar will go free, and in his place, you will become the guilty party. That's a lie. I don't believe you. What? I was told if I spoke, then it would be all over, and Matt would never be declared guilty. What? What in the world is she talking about? Has she lost it? I can't speak about it. I'm too scared. It's Franziska von Karma. Huh? Don't you remember, Phoenix? Miss Andrews lives by gripping tightly onto the words of another, because she doesn't have the strength to believe in herself. Then, right now, Miss Andrews is... Yesterday, she was tossed like a lifesaver by Miss von Karma. Don't say a word, no matter what happens. If you do, Matt Ongar will be acquitted. Miss Andrews undyingly believes in those words right now, and is clinging on to them. Then what should we do? This is the first time I've ever come across anything like this. But Miss Andrews has to be the killer, right? All you have to do now is get out not guilty. That is my only priority. It wasn't me. I'm begging you. Please believe me. I didn't kill Juan. Help. Please. Someone. Help me.
Mr. Wright,
Yes, Your Honor.
the court can't continue on like this. Therefore, I'd like to hear what you intend to do.
What I intend to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say? Right. I suggest you think very carefully about this. Think about what this witness did and what she did not do. And think about who is the real mastermind behind this crime. Who's the real mastermind? Isn't that obvious? There's no one else it could have been except a woman crying over there. Right? Come now. What will you do? What kind of man are you, Mr. Wright? Force Andrews to testify, because I am a man of some kind. I have to win a complete acquittal today. There's no way around that. But I can't bring myself to do it like this. Not when she's making a face like that. Miss Andrews, I would like to know what you are really hiding.
Mr. Wright, are you sure you know what you're doing?
Sure, Miss Ongar. Mr. Ongar would get an acquittal. But in his place, you would be found guilty. Is this how you really want this trial to end? Be quiet. How dare you? You're trying to trick me.
Yes, enough. I commend you for trying, Mr. Edgeworth. However, it is clear that the defense's theory is the truth.
You're wrong.
Nuh-uh.
What a shame. I'd hoped things wouldn't come to this, however.
Oh, what is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
Miss Andrews, since you absolutely refuse to testify, it falls on my shoulders to disclose this to the court. Stop!
Mr. Edgeworth!
This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness. What? And because of this illness, she has tried to commit suicide in the past. Just stop! Please stop! No matter how much you want to hide it, it's no use. I have the evidence right here. That's the second part of the suicide report. The attempted suicide report. What will you do now, witness? You know what I'm about to do, don't you? I will now reveal to the court the true nature of the pitiful woman known as Adrian Andrews. The secret of her dependent nature. Having other people know about it scares her more than anything else in the world. Please, please stop! I beg you. If people find out, I'll... If you're going to say you would choose death, there's no concern to me. Edgeworth, how can you be so cold? Like I'm the one to say. However, before you die, I will pull the truth from your still breathing lips, no matter what I have to do. So, will you tell the court yourself, or shall I? Either is fine with me. I'll talk, but please, help me. Nothing matters anymore. I cry. Damn, this is long. I thought it was not that going to be long, but it's really long. When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted. Honest. When I realized he was dead, that was when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room. And then, I stabbed one dead body with a knife and ripped off the button. Just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of inconvenience. And that's why I ended up using Nico Shamrai costume. Sandwich! Welcome. Yes, I'm holding it. Yes. How are you, Sandwich? You're doing good? Good morning, I guess. We have your breakfast, or lunch, or brunch.
Stabbed the body with the knife? But why would you do that?
Isn't it obvious to pin the blame on a certain person? A certain cowardly man. You're still in bed? Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's good. You had a good sleep then? Or do hope so. That's the reason you're still in bed. Need to get out and grab breakfast, so I see. Alright. Okay, good. Very good.
What did you mean by all of this?
It might take this court a little while to understand, but this is the truth. The real killer is Matt. That scumbag of a man. I'll never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again, just like last time. Last time? So, Miss Andrews stabbed Victor Juan Corrida in the chest with the knife. How was your day so far? It's good. I would say, I made a new, well, I didn't make a new emote. I just made an emote, I guess. Remade an emote, sorry. Which would be this. Yes. Don't it shows on okay, it does show on the screen, I guess. Stream. Yes, the emote has been updated. Just like the autopsies and evidence in this game. The emote. However, she didn't do it with murder in mind. She did it with the intent of framing Matt on guard for the murder. And this is her crime. What? How is this possible? I mean, wasn't Miss Andrews supposed to be the real murderer? Why? Why are you showing me the goodies? Oh no, the goodies. They are too good. They are distracting. Don't distract me from finishing this trial.
Mr. Wright, please get over your shock and commence the cross-examination.
No laugh. No laugh. No smug. I object. Anyhow. Let me see. Let's just... Okay. Just press everything. Thank you for the headband. But you could tell from the state the room was in that there must have been a fight. Are you telling the truth when you say that you did not know he was dead? He had a scarf tied around his neck, but that scarf is a part of Ninja's costume, so I didn't think anything about it was strange. His head was also tilted down a bit, so I couldn't see his face that well. That's why I thought I'd wake him up and went to pour the juice. When I realized he was dead... Okay. What is this plan you had? I knew right away the murderer was Matt. I knew because one, he was going to expose Matt's weakest weak point to the world. So Matt did this to stop one and silence him for good. It's when I thought I should forge some evidence and pin this crime on Matt. So, the forged pieces of evidence were the knife and the button. The first thing that came to mind was to plant the knife. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash to Max's room. That was so you could get the knife correct. The knife Matt used at dinner had his fingerprints all over it. I thought if I used that, then the police would suddenly turn their eyes towards him. Matt was napping with his costume on at the time. I slipped in, took the knife, and returned to the scene of the crime. Who sleeps in his costumes? So you were the one who stabbed the victim with that knife. It gives me goosebumps to think about it now. What a horrible thing I did. But at the time, I couldn't control my body. It moved on its own. Then when I stabbed one's dead body, I suddenly realized something. If I used the button somehow, it could make Matt look even more suspect. So you thought to rip one of the buttons off and then plant it in Mr. Unguard's Hakama. Yes, that's what I had planned to do. But things never go that smoothly, do they? An inconvenience. There was a woman with a camera at the ready, loitering in the hallway. I'm willing to bet my spikes it was Lauta. There was also a woman with a ray gun at the ready, pacing back and forth. That's Miss Oldback for you. I had already been caught and made into a big scoop for a certain weekly tabloid once. I couldn't very well go out looking like myself and get caught again. You were the one who prepared that costume, weren't you? Yes, I took it from Global Studios. Also put it into one's guitar case the day before the award ceremony. You did this in preparation for the press conference, correct? Yes. Juan wanted to wear that costume and hold a press conference in it. He was going to disclose Matt's biggest secret there.
And what is this secret?
That I don't know. Anyway, I thought that if I were to leave Juan's room in the Nico Samurai's costume, then people would think that Matt was the real murderer. I was very careful not to leave any fingerprints when I opened the guitar case. I absolutely did not want anyone to know about the costume.
I think we've heard enough. So, after that, you went back to Mr. Ungar's room and planted the button.
Into Matt's Hakama? Yes. After that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it into a bag. And I snuck it out of the hotel and got rid of it.
Oh, my word! Oh, does all this mean?
Mr. Edgeworth, is it? The real criminal is Matt Ungar. Yesterday, that woman prosecutor sat me down for a talk. Francisca, huh? She said that I should, under no circumstances, confess to what I had done. If I kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but to believe in her words.
What this witness has done is clearly unlawful. However, as long as her testimony stands, we can be certain she is not the real killer.
Wait, Your Honor. The defense... Right. It's pointless. At this point in time, it is not possible to indict Miss Andrews on anything.
Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as the murderer. The cross-examination of this witness is over, and so is today's trial. You couldn't establish that the witness was the culprit. Please let it go, Mr. Wright.
But...
Mr. Edgeworth, please place Miss Andrews under arrest for further questioning.
Understood, Your Honor. The prosecution will arrange for her detention immediately.
That is all. Court is adjourned for today.
Ooh. Well. No more judge over there. Does it mean no more Maya? Today's trial. It's over. And do you mean an acquittal? Witness, would you mind if I ask you something? Edgeworth? What is it? Before you leave court today, I wondered if I might look at one thing. The card in your hand. It's had my interest for quite some time now. What exactly is it? Oh, this? Mr. Wright also asked about this. Although I didn't remember at the time you asked me about it, Mr. Wright, I remembered just now. I found this in the room on that day. The room? That day? Yes. I found this card when I discovered Juan's body. It was lying there right next to him. You found that card next to the victim's body? I suppose I must have unconsciously slipped into my pocket. But it's not as if this card has any relevance to Juan's murder, right? Yeah, I guess not. But it's still a strange card, if you ask me. But as far as a clue to this case, I don't see why... Hold it! Witness, that card. Give it to me. Hurry. Edgeworth? Do you have any idea what you stupidly yet inevitably done? This. I can't believe you hid this from me all this time. I didn't mean to. She wasn't really hiding it. Well, what is this all about? I've never seen Edgeworth so emotional before. That card. What in the world is it? What does it mean?
To be continued. To be continued.
Alright. Well, it was exciting, wasn't it? But so exciting things have to be done, have to end. Well, not yet. We have still one more or two parts, I guess, or like investigation part, and then another trial, which is going to take probably a lot of time. Which I might make a huge, or at least 2 sessions for next week, because this is going to take. I don't know how long the investigation is going to go, because this is the final case. It's likely going to be a long one. So yeah, next week might be I might do 2 sessions of Ace Attorney instead. In any case, that will be it. Thank you so much for watching. Anyone that's watching in the VOD, thank you as well. I hope you enjoyed this, and yeah, I will try to get this uploaded as soon as possible. But for now, thank you so much. Take care, stay hopeful, but be critical. Bye bye.